ஐந்து கரத்தனை ஆனை முகத்தனை இந்தின் இளம்பிறை போன்ற எயிற்றினை நந்தி மகந்தனை ஞானக் கொழுந்தினை புந்தியில் வைத்தடி போற்றுகின்றேனே. யோகேன சித்தஸ்ய பதேன வாசாமலம் ஷரீரஸ்ய ச வைத்யகேன யோபாகரோத்தம் பிரபரம் முனீனாம் பதஞ்சலிம் பிராஞ்சலிரானதோஸ்மி. ஆபாஹு புருஷாகாரம் சங்கச்சக்ராசிதாரிணம் சஹசிரசிரசம் ஸ்வேதம் பிரணமாமி பதஞ்சலிம். ஸ்ரீமதே அனந்தாய நாகராஜாய நமோ நமः. அஸ்மதாச்சார்யேभ्यः सर्वेभ्यो नमो नमः. ஓம் அஜாமேகாம் லோஹிதசுக்லகிருஷ்ணாம் பஹ்வீம் பிரஜாம் ஜனயந்தி கும்சரூபாம் அஜோஹ்யேகோ ஜுஷமாணோ நிஷேதே ஜஹாத்யேனாம் புக்தபோகாமஜோன்யः. ब्रह्मा मुरारिस्त्रिपुरान्तकश्च भानुशशी भूमिसुतो बुधश्च गुरुश्च शुक्रशनिराहुकेतवो कुर्वन्तु सर्वे मम सुप्रभातं. भृगुर्वसिष्ठक्रतुरङ्गिराश्च मनुःपुलश्च पुलहश्च गौतमः रैभ्यो मरीचिश्च वनोथ दक्षो कुर्वन्तु सर्वे मम सुप्रभातं. सनत्कुमारश्च सनन्दनश्च सनातनोऽप्यासुरिसिंहलौ च सप्तस्वरा सप्तरसातलानि कुर्वन्तु सर्वे मम सुप्रभातं. सप्तार्णवा सप्तकुलाचलाश्च सप्तऋषयो द्वीपवनानि सप्त भूरादिकूर्मो भुवनानि सप्त कुर्वन्तु सर्वे मम सुप्रभातं. पृथिवी सगन्धा सरसास्तदापस्पर्शश्च वायुर्ज्वलितं च तेजः नभश्च शब्दं महत्ता सहैव कुर्वन्तु सर्वे मम सुप्रभातं. ब्रह्माणं शङ्करं विष्णुं यमं रामं धनुं बलिं सप्तैतान् संस्मरेन् नित्यं दुःस्वप्नस्तस्य नश्यति. पुण्यश्लोको नलो राजा पुण्यश्लोको युधिष्ठिरः पुण्यश्लोका च वैदेही पुण्यश्लोको जनार्दनः. कार्कोटकस्य नागस्य दमयन्त्यानलस्य च ऋतुपर्णस्य राजऋषे कीर्तनं कलिनाशनं. जानामि धर्मं न च मे प्रवृत्तिर्जानाम्यधर्मं न च मे निवृत्तिः. केनापि देवेन हृदि स्थितेन यथा नियुक्तोऽस्मि तथा करोमि. इत्थं प्रभाते परमं पवित्रं पठेत् स्मरेत् वा शृणुयाच्च तत्त्वत्. दुःस्वप्ननाशस्तु इह सुप्रभातं भवेच्च नित्यं भगवत्प्रसादात् भवेच्च नित्यं भगवत्प्रसादात् भवेच्च नित्यं भगवत्प्रसादात्. Okay, the one mantra which is which directly explains the essentials of Sāṁkhya is this short mantra. Ajam ekam lohita shukla krishnam. Ekam ajam lohita shukla krishnam. Aja means one who is has got no birth. Ja means janma, birth. Aja means without birth. So we have come across we have known that Moola Prakriti is a Prakriti, not a Vikriti. So there is no, it is not created from something else. Ajam Ekam. Ekam means there is nothing like that. Ajam Ekam, one Moola Prakriti. Ajam, which is not a Vikriti. Lohita Shukla Krishnam. This the Lohita means what? Loha means Lohita. Loha means iron or metal, and iron is supposed to, produce compounds which are red. So Lohita refers to a red color, red hue. Lohita. Shukla is white and Krishna is black. Ajam Ekam, and that Ekam, that Ajam, the what you call the unborn one, she is of three hues. Lohita, Shukla, Krishna. Lohita, red, white and black. Lohita Shukla Krishnam. And then what does she do? What does the Prakriti do? Lohita Shukla Krishnam. Bhakvim Prajam Janayantim Sarupam. It produces Bhakvim Prajam, many offsprings it produces. Offsprings it produces. Bhakvim Prajam Janayantim and Sarupam, because all of them also have the three colors. All of them are made up Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Only thing is here he explains it in terms of colors. They refer to the three different qualities, three different characteristics, which are Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Ajamekam lohita shukla krishnam bhakvim prajam janayantim sarupam. And then then he comes to what do you call Ajokhyeko Jushamano Nushete. So it is now pictured like a tree, like a tree, and then in the tree there are plenty of plenty of fruits, which are also the same quality of the tree. That is, they also contain the same three qualities, right? Lohita Shukla Krishnam, Bhakvim Prajam Janayantim Sarupam. Then in the tree there are two birds sitting on the branches, and one bird is very, enthusiastically eating the fruits, So Ajam Ekam Lohita Shukla Krishnam, Bhakvim Prajam Janayantim Sarupam, Ajokhyeko Jushamanaha Anushete. Okay, sitting on the tree, it is enjoying the fruit of the Prakriti, right? Like all of us. Then there is another one, Ajokhyeko Jushamanu Sete, Jahatyenam Bhukta Bhogam Jonya. Another one, having seen that there is nothing else to enjoy in this, it sits there without taking, without enjoying the fruits of the Prakriti. So in this way, this particular shloka explains. What does it explain? Mula Prakriti is a Prakriti, not a Vikriti. It is made up of three qualities or three characteristics, which are Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, and it doesn't keep quiet. Even though it is unborn, it is able to produce number of offsprings which are of the same nature as of the nature of the Mula Prakriti. And then it comes to individuals. There are two kinds of individuals. One kind of individual which continues to enjoy means experience the fruits. The fruit may be good, bad or indifferent. Maybe at one point, sometimes some mangoes, you find three different tastes in the same mangoes. Somewhere it will be sweet, somewhere it won't be so sweet. Sometimes it can even be bitter, right? So one bird is called the Baddhatma. Baddhatma means what? One is in bondage. It keeps on enjoying the fruit. The other one, having seen there is nothing else to do, it remains there waiting for the end of the physical existence. So this is the shloka. And then this is modified in some of the Upanishads, like the Shvetashvara Upanishad. So many people try to quote this shloka to indicate that Sāṁkhya is a what? Sāṁkhya is a Vedic darshana or the Astika darshana, right? So in one shloka it contains the essentials of Sāṁkhya. That Mula Prakriti is Aja, it is unborn, it has got three basic characteristics, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, but it produces offsprings, number of Mahat Tattva, Ahankara Tattva, and then multitude creatures it is able to create. And then out of these creatures, most people continue to be engaged in enjoying the fruits of the Prakriti. Enjoy means not really enjoyment, experience the fruits of Prakriti, which may be enjoyable or which may not be enjoyable, depending upon which qualities dominate in the fruit. And then there is another one which, having seen, that will be the that will be the one which will be in a state of Kaivalya. So the entire idea of Sāṁkhya, you find it in this particular shloka. I'm sorry. Why don't you chant this? Ajame Kam. Lohita Shukla Krishnam. Bhakvim Prajam. Janayanti Gum. Sarupam. Ajohyeko. Dushamano Nushete. Jahatyenam. Bhukta Bhogam. Ajo Onyaha. see that they use the term aja for the both the Baddhatma and also the Muktatma, because the spirit or the Purusha is also not a Vikriti, isn't it? We have seen that. So they use the word aja, which aja is a feminine gender, Mula Prakriti, aja. Then the individual Purushas are mentioned in the masculine gender, aja, aja, and aja. These are the, what do you call this? These are the three things. All the three, the Baddhatma, the Muktatma, then the Mula Prakriti, all are unborn. They are not Vikritis. All the three are not Vikritis. Right? Now we'll get to the text. Shloka number 38. Tanmatranyabhisheshaha tebhyo bhutani pancha panchabhyaha yete smruta visheshaha shanta ghorascha mudhascha. Now he is getting into the, what you call, the actual evolution, the final stages of evolution. Shloka number 38. Tanmatrani abhisheshaha. Okay. Now, earlier shlokas referred to the, what do you call, the Sattvika Ahankara evolution. And they talked about the 11 Indriyas, and then he explained the Antakarana, the 11 Indriyas, everything had been done already. Now he goes to the other side. Tanmatrani. What is by Tanmatra? What are the Tanmatras? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. These are the Tanmatras. What is the meaning of the word Tanmatra? It is not mixed with anything else. Okay? All the other objects, pure. Tadeva Tanmatra. Matra means alone, only that. Tati means that alone. That is the meaning of the word Tanmatra. Tanmatrani Avisheshaha. What is Avisheshaha? Avishesha here is non-manifest. No, what is it called? Yes. Not gross, they are subtle. Abhisheshaha. Tebhyaha panchabhyaha. Out. He didn't say in the earlier shloka, part tanmatrani abhisheshaha. The tanmatras are, what do you call, abhishesha. Abhishesha means subtle. And there are 5 subtle tanmatras. Tebhyaha, from those panchabhyaha, out of those 5 tanmatras, what are the 5 tanmatras? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Out of those 5 tanmatras, panchabhutani jayant. Panchabhutani, pancha means what? 5. Bhutani, bhutas are the gross aspects of evolution. What are they? Prithvi, Ap, Teyu, Vayu, Akasha. Bhutani, panchabhutani jayante. Panchabhya means from each one of them. It doesn't mean from all the 5, all these come. For each one of them produce their own product. Shabda produces Akasha, Sparsha produces what? Air. Like that, all the 5 tanmatras produce their respective gross aspects. Bhutani. And then these, Yete Shantaha Ghorasya Mudahasya. So here what you have got to understand is, once these, what do you call, these bhutas come, they mix in various ways. They mix up in various ways and produce umpteen number of products. So many products are produced. Stone, what do you call, water, sea, like that. The number of products are produced by a different type of combination of the 5 bhutas. That is called Panchikarana. In Vedanta they call Panchikarana. Panchikarana, where the 5 elements join in various proportions and then produce different objects. 5 different, bhutas produce different objects, and each bhuta has got 3 different qualities. So we have got, the possibilities become immense, This, one particular combination of the bhutas, there the quality could also vary. So that way the same, object can exhibit 3 different qualities. One be sattvic, that's what he says here. Yete, these, Shantaha, Ghorascha, Mudascha. Shantaha refers to sattva. You see, sattva manifests as peace. Sattva, so he says Shantaha. Some objects are, no, they don't bother you. Shantaha. Ghoraha, some are violent. Mudascha, some are what? Some are muda, they are heavy, right? Visheshaha, smrutaha. These bhutas are called Visheshas. So he used two terms here, Avishesha and Vishesha. Avishesha will refer to the tanmatras, Vishesha will refer to the what? The bhutas, the five bhutas. Is it clear? Now, the last stage of evolution at the macrocosmic level, we have the tanmatras, five tanmatras, producing five different, bhutas, and their combination and the different proportion of the gunas, you find innumerable number of objects created, and they exhibit the three different qualities. Some are predominantly sattvic, some are predominantly rajasic, and some are predominantly tamasic. Right? This is the shloka where we know that the bhutas come from the tanmatras. Yes.
So when he's talking about calm, turbulent, and deputed, he's referring to the products of the combination of the
Right. Yes.
not to the tanmatras or the panchabhutas.
No, tanmatras produce the panchabhutas, and then the panchabhutas combine. This is not mentioned here. We got to understand the panchabhutas combine in various proportions, and then they also exhibit three different qualities differently, and that is why we got the variety of objects, innumerable millions of objects that you find, right? This is with respect to the objects alone. Right. Now he gets to the other stream. Okay. The objects are there, but there are also beings, creatures are there, isn't it? So he has got to explain. Now we have got a combination of the this stream. What is that? Subjective stream and objective stream. Right. So he says then there are not only objects, but you also find creatures, right? Like us. No, you're also creatures. Now he has to explain that. So all the creatures have got three bodies according to this shloka. What is the shloka? Right, let's go through the shloka first. Tanmatrani avisheshaha tebhyo bhutani panchabhyah yete smritaha visheshaha shanta घोराश्च मूढ़ाश्च तन्मात्राण्यविशेषाः तेभ्यो भूतानि पञ्चभ्यः एते स्मृता विशेषाः शान्ता घोराश्च मूढ़ाश्च. So we'll go to the next one. Now he is going to talk about the various creatures. All right, the universe consists not only of objects but also creatures. Right? The creatures are the subjects. The universe is the object. So how are the creatures made of? Right? Sukshma mata pitrujaha saha prabhutais tridha visheshaha syuhu Sukshmastesham niyata mata pitruja nivartante. All right. All according to the Sāṁkhyas, in the in the Taittiriya Upanishad, you find that there are five koshas, isn't it? Every creature has got five koshas. The the Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, then we got the Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya kosha. The five koshas are, that's how they treat. Here they treat in a slightly different way. They say that there are the human or any creature has got three different bodies. What are the three different bodies? Sukshmaha, the subtle body. Sukshmaha is subtle body. We've already come across it. He is going to explain it a little later. The subjective stream, we saw that it develops at the time of creation itself. At the time of creation itself, we have been there since the time of creation. At the time of creation, each of the Purusha, Purusha gets its own share of the Prakriti in the form of a subtle body. Is it clear? And then that subtle body is permanent. Permanent in the sense it is going to ultimately merge with the Mula Prakriti. Until then it is going to, nobody can destroy that. Your karmas cannot destroy, it will continue to operate, that will provide the template, which you can call as yourself. Sukshmaha, this is Sukshma Sharira, Sukshmaha. Then we got another one called Mata Pitrijaha Sharira. What is Mata Pitrijaha Sharira? The body given by the parents. The parents give something to the body. This body is not made. It cannot be made without the contribution of the Mata and Pitra. This body cannot be made without the Indriyas and all that. The Sukshma Sharira also will be there. Sukshma Sharira, then the Mata Pitrijaha Sharira, then finally we got what? Saha Prabhutaihi. Prabhuta means Bhuta Sharira. Prabhuta Sharira or Bhuta Sharira. So we got three bodies. Bhuta Sharira consisting of the 5 Bhutas in different combinations. We got the water element in this, we got the earth element in this, air element in this, and then what else? Earth, water, and then air element in this. We still have plenty of air in this, and ultimately a lot of akasha in this, especially in the, as you know, in the head. Sukshmaha Mata Pitrijaha Saha Prabhutaihi Trida Visheshaha Syuhu. Trida. So there are 3 layers, 3 bodies in that. So, right, 3 bodies in this. So each one will got to understand what one each was does. Sukshmaha Tesham Niyata. Immediately he says this Sukshma Sharira, the subtle body, is Niyata. Niyata means it will not die. It will not die until you get it will continue to exist until what? If you are a Baddha Atma means if you don't get the release, it will go on and on and on until finally during the time of dissolution, it merges back into Mula Prakriti, right? And again when the next evolution starts, the same Sharira will continue to operate. Okay. Whereas on the other hand, if there is Kaivalya, then there is no, the Sukshma Sharira cannot proceed because there is no momentum for it to proceed further. Then it merges with the Prakriti. So until then, nothing can be done to the Sukshma Sharira. That's the idea here. Is it clear? Yeah. Sukshmaha Tesham Neyata. They are relatively permanent. Mata Pitrja Nivartante. What happens to Mata Pitrja Sharira? The body created, body produced by the due to the contribution of the parents, that goes away because at the time of death, this body you are going to leave. This identity is gone. What happens to the bhutas? See, we are made up of 3 bodies. The Sukshma Sharira will continue to go, take another birth. The Mata Patrija Sharira, which is the genetic body, that is going to be lost. And so far as the Bhuta Sharira, all the 5 Bhutas will merge back into the original constituents. See, this body, some part of this body will remain something, or it may enter into the body of something else. Number of other things. So 3 different aspects of us at the time of death. The Sukshma Sharira will travel further, or if we have already reached a stage of Kaivalya, there is no further movement for that. So far as the Mata Patrija Sharira is concerned, that is the end in it. And thirdly, we got the Bhuta Sharira, which merges back into the Panchabhutas. Is it clear? Yes, sir.
It's not when the entity reaches that Kaivalya state, then the subtle body, they will be with into the Mula Prakriti and what happens.
See, I will tell you one thing. When I reach that particular stage, I won't worry about this. Right. I mean, see, but one thing is definite, this Sukshma Sharira cannot travel. There is no momentum for it to travel because unless there is that desire for something to achieve in this universe, either in this world or the other worlds, they won't be able to take another birth. So what will happen? There are two versions mentioned. They merge back into the Mula Prakriti, or they say they remain until the dissolution takes place. It merges back with the Mula Prakriti. So the main point is, once this Kaivalya is reached, so far as the Baddha Atmas are concerned, it is going to be there until the end of the evolution, until the dissolution takes place. Okay, so this is, now there are a number of, let us take a little more time to explain this. How does this happen? You know, in the Yoga Sutras, they explain to you, what do they say? Satimule tadvipako jati ayuhu bhogaha. Satimule, so long as the avidya is there, the knowledge about the self is not there, avidya is there. Satimule tadvipaka. What is that? Tat refers to the karma bundle. Whatever karma that you have accumulated, it is also there in a subtle form. Tadvipako, they fructify, tadvipako, jati ayuhu bhogaha. You will take another birth, that's what it says. Now, there are a number of what you call texts which tell you about the how what you call the Sukshma Sharira travels from one particular life to another particular life. So different schools are there. There is an Upanishad called Kaushitiki Brahmana Upanishad. There, so many of the Puranas follow that. What happens after one dies? After one dies, the what you call the Sukshma Sharira goes out of the body. You know, when somebody dies, you know, the Sukshma Sharira goes out of the body, and then ultimately, let us start what these people say. Once the Sukshma Sharira, are you interested in this? When the Sukshma, no. When the Sukshma Sharira leaves the body, what does it do? It alone also, what you call the Purusha also is in that group now. And then the bundle of old karma will also be there, isn't it? So he's going to explain this. So this, what you call this Sukshma, this group leaves, and then tries to go to heaven or whatever desire it is. Whether the karma may not be there, the desire may be there. You go upward, either go to the, so to the heaven there are two entries, two what it gets. One is the sun, the other is the moon. Like this. Anyway, if you go through the sun, you are able to go to the heaven. If you go through the moon, you don't go to the heaven. Anyway, so that's why they say don't die, what you call, you must die during the daytime, not during the night. Because there is no sun during the night. That is one. The other one is the people who are supposed to die during the day have got a better chance of going to heaven than people who die during night. So, or again, people who die during Uttarayana are supposed to. Anyway, just these are all mostly from Purana. We'll forget about it. That's not the point. So it goes up, and there when you go to the gate, they ask you who are you? That's the simple question they ask you. Then what do you say? Who are you? Oh, don't you know me? I'm Ramaswami. I was a yoga teacher. If you don't know me, look at my website. Everything is information is away there. Ask my Facebook friends; they will tell me everything about it. And then look around, and you expect that. Then they'll say no, there is no space for you. Just go back, and then push you down. Why do they do that? Because you don't know the answer to the question. What is the question that they ask? Who are you? What did you say? You gave a wrong answer. You should have said that I don't know, as I do. We try to give an answer which we know, and you come down. Then as you are pushed down, what happens? Now the first transformation is, because in the olden days, cremation was considered to be the method. So at the time of cremation, that is said to be the first, it is known as, now we come to the particular Vidya called Panchagni Vidya, both in the Chandogya Upanishad and Brihadaranya Upanishad. Then you come down, and then what you do? You fall down. When you fall down, you fall on into a cloud. Cloud, because you're gone all the way up to the Chandramandala, you're falling down. You fall onto the what is this rain-bearing cloud, and then after some time the rain falls. You get into one drop of water. Then you may fall in the sea, and then in the sea one of the creatures in the sea may probably drink you. One of the male member of the species may drink, or you may fall on earth, and then you may get into a plant, and then you become part of the plant, become a seed or whatever. Anyway, you can be anything. You can become something. So now this is the second transformation, second Agni. And then what happens? You are either, somebody drinks that water, or somebody eats the product, the plant, you may like the leaves, so you may, if it is a goat, the goat may like the leaf. Or somebody like, someone like may take the leaves and then make a spinach curry, and then we eat that, whatever. So it gets into somebody's body. So it is there for a period of time, and then it becomes part of this person, and then it is transmitted to the female species. That is the third Agni. And then there what happens? The new body is created. What is that body? That is called Mata Pitruja Sharira. That's what he is talking about. Mata Pitruja Sharira. Why is it? Why is there a difference in that? First of all, you got the first Sharira is what? The Sukshma Sharira. Along with that, you traveled all the way, got into the body of a male member of a species, then into the female member of the species, and then at that time, the embryo is created. That particular embryo is known as the Mata Pitruja Sharira. Okay. Now, from that time onwards, what happens? It starts taking the bhutas from the outside world through the mother. So it develops it develops a body pertaining to that particular creature. And what is the difference? Not only it belongs to the particular creature, it also has the genes of the parents. So the Mata Pitruja Sharira, you can call it as the genetic body. Sukshma Sharira is where you got all the Indriyas and the old tendencies, Karmashayas are there. And finally you get a Bhuta Sharira by taking a lot of material from the outside world. So these are the three Shariras, right? This is how they try to explain how transmigration can take place. You like the story?
Why is it called Panchagni?
There are 5 transformations. Yeah, it's called an Agni. See, when you put something in an Agni, you can't, the change is permanent, right? I mean, that's it. So first Agni is where the body is burnt or cremated. The second is when it gets into the plant. Third, when it gets to the male member. Fourth, when it gets into the and finally it develops its own body. So these are the 5 transformations called Panchagni. If you want, you can read this Panchagni Vidya in two of the Upanishads, Chandogya and the Brihadaranyaka contain this episode. Actually, it's a story like in the olden days. Mostly it is the Brahmanas were the one who are having all this knowledge. So one young Brahmana boy goes to a king, and then he tries to in the olden days you go and debate or explain in front of pandits, and also in the sabha or the court of a king. So at the end of it, the king will offer you a gift. So that's how they were earning at that time. So this boy went there. He has just completed. See, that's how they do. As soon as you complete your studies, then you got to pay the dakshina, because the father don't have money, the boys don't have money, the teacher doesn't have money. So ultimately they have to go to the kings and others too. So there the king and others, they assess the quality of those boys, and then whatever gifts they give it to the teacher as the Guru Dakshina. So the teacher is very keen to develop very good students, so that the pandits will be able to appreciate their scholarship, and then pay a bigger gift, so that they get more money or whatever it be. So and then they teach very well, because until they prove their credentials, the boys will not get anything. So they have to be very good in teaching, because It's not like you get your salary every month and then you don't care whether the student passes the exam or not. No, this is not the way it could work at that time. So this is what they will have to do. So this boy goes to a king and then he starts talking about whatever, everything he knows. And basically his father was his teacher. I don't remember the name of the student. So he goes and talks to the king, and the king king himself is a king, are kshatriyas, they are not. He himself was a great scholar, so he asked this question: do you know how a soul transmigrates and then becomes takes another body? Can you explain this? He said, no, I don't know about this. Then immediately feels very ashamed, so runs back to his house and then asks his father, why didn't you teach me this? Why didn't you teach me this vidya? These are all called vidyas. Panchakosha vidya, Panchagni vidya, Panchikarana vidya, different vidyas are there, different bodies of knowledge at the time. He comes back and then asks his father. The father says, the only reason I did not teach you is I didn't know myself. So we'll go, both of us, let's both go and then, ask him. He didn't tell, he said, no, don't worry about it, We are Brahmanas, we should go and study under a Kshatriya. He didn't say that. I don't know that, let me go and study and find out from the teacher. So both of them go there, and the king is reluctant to teach a Brahmana. I mean, there's a nice story goes on. Please read that whenever you find the time. Okay, right, let us. This shloka is clear. So the three shariras, according to Sāṁkhyas: one, the Sukshma Sharira, then we got the Mata Pitrija Sharira, and finally the Bhuta Sharira. That's what he says here. Sukshmaha Mata Pitrija Saha Prabhutaihi Trida Visheshaha Syuh Sukshmaha Tesham Niyataha Mata Pitrija Nivartante. Sukshma Mata Pitrijaha Saha Prabhutaihi Trida Vishesha Syuh Sukshmastesham Niyata Mata Pitrija Nivartante. Right, okay, we'll go to the next one. Purvotpannam asaktam niyatam mahadadi sukshma paryantam samsarati nirupabhogam bhavairadhivasitam lingam. Now he is talking about the linga sharira. What is linga sharira? Linga sharira is another term for sukshma sharira. Sukshma sharira, it is called sukshma sharira because it cannot be seen by the senses. Why is it called linga sharira? Because it is one ultimately which will merge into the Mula Prakriti. Layam gacchati iti lingam. Something which will go back to its source. So this sharira, the subtle body, ultimately will merge back into the Mula Prakriti. That's why it's called linga sharira. Right? Lingam means the subtle body or the linga sharira. Purva Utpannam. Purva Utpannam. When was it created? Purva, in the beginning itself. When was this, what you call the subtle body? Our eyes, not the physical eye, what you call the capacity to see, the capacity to hear. All of them were created at the time of evolution itself. Purva Utpannam. Purva means the beginning itself. Okay, at the time of evolution. And then once it is then asakta. Asakta means it has got the capacity to move anywhere. Is it clear? Asakta means unimpeded. It can become a human being, it can become a bug, it can go to hell, it can go to heaven, it can go to all over the place. It can become the Indra, it can become an ant. The same subtle body can become any of these. Asakta, unimpeded, asaktam. And then niyatam. Niyatam, as I told you, is constant. It cannot be, nobody can modify it. Ultimately, it will have to go back only to the Moola Prakriti, because it is part of the Moola Prakriti. It's an aspect of the Moola Prakriti. Asaktam, niyatam. And then, what does it consist of? What is its composition? We have not come across, we have not mentioned about it. What is the composition of that? Mahadadi Sukshma Paryantam. Mahadadi, Mahat means what? Mahatattva. Here it is Buddhi Tattva. Are you listening? Yes. Right. Mahat Adi, Mahat etc. Mahat Ahankara. Then the 11, what do you call it? 11 Indriyas. Mahadadi, Sukshma. So these are the what are the 3 Antakaranas and the 10 Indriyas. 10 Indriyas form the Mahadadi Sukshma Paryantam. And then Sukshma will refer to not only the Indriyas but also the 5 Tanmatras. They include the 5 Tanmatras in this so that we have to, and then he's going to explain it later. Why the Tanmatras? It's a technical discussion between all those people in the olden days. The Sukshma Sharira should also have a base so that it can move around. So they say that the material base for that will be the 5 Tanmatras. So totally how many aspects are there? What are the Mahat, Ahankara, Manas, 10 Indriyas and the 5 Tanmatras. How many are there total? 18 Tattvas are there. 18 Tattvas are there. They migrate from one body to another body to another body. They keep on going. Right. Mahadadi, Sukshma Paryantam, Nirupa Bhogam. And then Nirupa Bhogam. Because Nirupa Bhogam, even though it's a subtle body, it cannot experience, it cannot enjoy anything. Nirupa Bhogam, it doesn't experience. Experience is given to the Purusha. Purusha is the one which experiences. This is inert, right? This is inert. They have no experience, right? Nirupa Bhogam, Bhavaihi, right. In addition to this, Bhavaihi Adibhasitam Lingam. This Linga Sharira, or, what you call Karana Sharira, they call it, whatever be the name you want to give. The Vedanta, they gave the word Karana Sharira, Ser, Linga. There are subtle differences between these two. Whether if you include the Pancha Tanmatras, then it is given a different name. Sukshma Sharira, Linga Sharira, Karana Sharira. Okay. Anyway, this here he used the word Linga Sharira. Okay. Then this, this body, Pancha Tanmatras and the 11 Indriyas and the other 2 Antakaranas, all of them put together, this is the Sukshma Sharira or Linga Sharira. It also is the, is where the Bhavaihi Adivasa. Bhava means what? Your past karmas. Okay? Past karmas are there. So what is the difference between the Linga Sharira in you and the Linga Sharira in me? They are identical, for all practical purposes they are identical, except that they carry your karmas, whereas my Linga Sharira carries my karma. This is the difference. Bhavaihi adivasitam lingam. Adivasitam means the, the karma bundle is stored here in the form of a, thumb? What do you call? Huh? Thumb? No, not thumb impression. Thumb drive, right. In the form of a thumb drive, Huh? What did he say? Pen drive, right, yeah, okay. Pen drive, good. Not thumb drive. All are okay? Good. So it is stored in a very subtle form, maybe in a chip, whatever. Everything is contained in this. It's a very small thing. You can't see that. Very subtle. You don't need, volumes of information. Everything can be contained in a very, very, in a minute way. So they are contained there. So what does this Linga Sharira contain now? The 3 Antakaranas, the 10 Indriyas, then we got the 5 Tanmatras, and your bhava, your karmashaya, the karma, the Patanjali used the word karmashaya, klesha moolak karmashayo, drishta adrishta janma vedaniya. So that is carried on. So your Linga Sharira carries your samskaras. Linga Sharira carries all the subtle things about you. Your history is held in the Linga Sharira. in the form of bhava. Bhava is the term used here. Okay, any questions here? Let us. Purva Utpannam Asaktam Niyatam Mahadadi Sukshma Paryantam Samsarati Nirupabhogam Bhavaihi Adhivasitam Lingam. So we left out one quarter. Nirupabhogam bhavaihi samsarati. That's isn't it? Samsarati, yeah. Samsarati means what? This subtle body transmigrates. When I die, the physical body is dissolved into the pancha bhutas. The Mata Pitrija Sharira vanishes, isn't it? There is no trace. There is absolutely no trace. Once I die and the body is disintegrates into the five dharma, there is no clue about. Look at the people who have died. There is no clue about them. Even though they leave their body, there is no clue about them. But their subtle body takes another janma, right? Samsarati means transmigrates. Samsarati, from here the word samsara is used normally. Samsarati means it goes from one janma to another janma. It keeps on traveling from one janma to another. Samsarati nirupabhogam bhavaihi adivasitam lingam. We'll go to the next shloka now. Now he is in the next shloka. He tries to answer the question: why should you include the pancha tanmatras? It's a technical question. He tries to answer that. Chitram yathashrayamrute sthanvadibhyo yatha vinachaya tadvad vina visheshaihi natishtati nirashrayam lingam. Nirashrayam lingam. Nirashrayam means supportless. Okay, now what does it say? What does he say? The Sukshma Sharira or the Linga Sharira, some people say the Sukshma Sharira does not include the Tanmatras. And then say the Linga Sharira is the one which includes the Tanmatras. That's the distinction that they make. According to these people, the Sukshma Sharira is incapable of carrying the carrying the bhavas or the bhava or the karmashaya, the past karmas. So they need a support for that, and that is given by the tanmatras. So they got the 18 part Sukshma Sharira, Linga Sharira, as opposed to the 13 part Sukshma Sharira. Okay, this is just a technical matter, right? So let us see. Yatha ashrayam, yatha, in the same way, ashrayam means support. Ashrayam means support. We say ashram. Ashrama means that's where you stay. There's somebody is there to support you. You go to an ashram. Why do you go to an ashram? Because there will be some support there. When you get old, you go to an ashram. Right? Yatha ashrayam, yatha, just as ashraya means support, vina, without support. Vina means without. Rite, ashraya means support. Here rite means straight, okay, without a post. Supposing I want to hang this board, you need a post so that you can hang it on that. Otherwise it will fall down. There should be a support for that. Yatha ashrayam rite, vina, ashrayam without a straight support. Chitram na tishtati, a painting or a mural cannot be maintained. tishtati. Yatha sthanuhu adibhyaha vina. Just as sthanu means what? Sthanu means a pillar. Sthanu means a pillar. Am I right? Sthanu means a pillar. Sthanu adibhya. Sthanu or something else. It may be a sthanu or it may be a chair or it may be something. Yatha. Vina, without that, chaya na tishtati. Chaya means, what do you call it? A shadow cannot be produced without an object. There has to be an object to produce a shadow. So, like that, sthanuhu vina chaya na tishtati tadvat. In the same way, avisheshaihi, without the avishesha, non-specific, what do you call, tanmatras, vina, without that, nirashraya lingam, the unsupported, okay, the what do you call, the 13 aspect sukshma sharira cannot transmigrate. So for the transmigration to take place, they say that it should have the support of the 5 tanmatras. The 13, what do you call, the 13 aspects plus the 5 tanmatras plus the karmashaya plus the purusha travel in a group. They all travel in a group. They are all very subtle, but they travel in a group. Without the purusha, there is no experience. So purusha must be there. Without the karmashaya, there is no. It won't lead you to the right birth. No, karmashaya must be there to say, okay, this is not where I want to go. This is where I want to go. So that direction is given by karmashaya. And then the 13 what you call aspects should be there, so that when you take the next birth, you will have the wherewithal to function. Isn't it? Right. Do you have any questions?
Settled body is same as Jivatma.
Huh?
Settled body is same as Jivatma.
Different, yeah. See, normally, Jivatma is a term not used here. So it will be difficult to explain Jivatma in terms of Sāṁkhya approach. They don't use the term Jivatma at all. There is only one Atma, which is the Purusha. Jivatma is a term used in some, what do you call, some schools of the Vedanta, some Vedanta schools. Here we got the Ahankara here. Ahankara is not really the Jivatma. Ahankara is the one that assumes to be the Jiva, assumes to be the self. Okay, can we go through the shloka now? Did we chant that? No. Chitram Yathashrayam Rite. No, Ashrayam Rite. Ashrayam Rite. Ashrayam Rite. Sthanu Adibhyaha Yatha Vina Chaya Tadvadvina Avisheshaihi Natishtati Nirashrayam Lingam. Chitram Yathashrayam Rite Sthanvadibhyo Yatha Vinachaya Tadvadvina Visheshaihi Natishtati Nirashrayam Lingam. Go to the next one. Purushartha hetukamidam nimitta naimittika prasangena prakriter vibhutva yogat natavat vyavatishthate lingam. What does the Linga Sharira do? He says the Linga Sharira, like a Natavan. Natavat means what do you call it? Dance dramatist. Dance dramatist, you know, Natavat. Like a person who Natana means dance. Natavati here dance also drama. When you do dance, you dance as a Shiva one day, maybe Parvati another day, or Ardhanarishwara another day, or Ganesha one day. You know, you take different forms and then perform. You are a performer, you know. Natavati Vyavatishthe, just like a performer takes different roles, and plays them. Likewise, the Linga Sharira takes different bodies and then acts differently. So that's the main thing. Purushartha hetukam idam. Right? Purushartha hetu. What is Purushartha here? What are the Purusharthas according to Sāṁkhya? According to Sāṁkhya, the Purushartha is Bhoga and Apavarga. Isn't it? Purushartha. What can be given to the Purusha? The Purusha can be given different experiences, all forms of good things, bad experiences, what do you call indifferent experience, everything that you find, something sattvic, sometimes rajasic, sometimes tamasic experience, everything is provided by the chitta. We already come across that ultimately the buddhi analyzes and make a final presentation to the Purusha. It may appear, the Purusha is not affected by that, but then it is forced to, or it is required to see whatever goes on in the Chitta as a Chittavarti, right? That's what we have seen. So, that is called Purushartha. Or the same Buddhi, yesterday we saw, the same Buddhi can, can start the process of, Kaivalya and ultimately lead to a state of Kaivalya. Once the buddhi is able to see the true nature of the Purusha, it reaches Chittavarti Nirodha, and the Purusha is going to be in a state of Kaivalya. This is, so two things the buddhi can do. So the two Purusharthas are keep on giving more and more experiences. That he has explained the previous sloka. The previous sloka he explained that, you know, the individual soul. Earlier, yesterday I think we saw that the same what we call buddhi leads you to Kaivalya. And then the same buddhi also samsarati through the linga sharira. Linga sharira keeps on going from janma to janma. So these are the two purusharthas. That's what he takes. Purushartha hetukam idam lingam nimitta naimittika prasangena prakritehe vibhutva yogat natavat vyavatishthati. Right? Satim, right. Purushartha. Purushartha means for the sake of attaining the ultimate goal. Isn't it? For the sake of attaining the goal. What is the goal? The goal, what do you call it? Not exactly the goal. Artha means what is it capable of? What is it capable of? Giving experience to the Purusha. That is called Purushartha. Hetukam idam. Idam means this Linga Sharira. This Linga Sharira or the subtle body. Nimitta naimittika prasangena. Nimitta means, naimittika means the results. What is the nimitta? What is responsible for you to take an next janma? What is responsible for you to take the next janma? Your past karmas and the avidya associated with that. So these two are responsible. So your past karma created due to avidya, these are responsible for you to take the next janma. That's called nimitta. Then what happens with that? You take, because of that, you take a new body. Okay, the Linga Sharira takes, it's called Naimittika. Nimitta Naimittika. Nimitta Naimittika Prasangena. There is a connection between these two. What is the connection? Nimitta leads to Naimittika. What is your Nimitta? Your past karmas. What is Naimittika? A new birth. Is it clear? Nimitta Naimittika Prasangena. Due to the connection between your past activities and your new birth, Prasangena, Prakritehe vibhukta yogate. The vibhukta yogate, because of the vastness of the universe, the Linga Sharira is able to find out the appropriate role. Is it clear? Just like a natavat, like a performer is able to take different roles, the Linga Sharira is able to take different roles, and that possibility of taking different is provided by the vibhukta, is provided by the universe. You don't look happy at all. Is it clear? Is it clear? He says this is possible. Then to the question whether future birth is possible or not, he explains it. What he says is Linga Sharira by itself has got no motivation. The Linga Sharira has got the past karmas. The karmashayas are there. That's called nimitta. Okay, nimitta cause, right? Why should somebody become, why should the Indra become an ant? It is because of the karma. That is the nimitta karma. Then what is the naimittika? The ant is the naimittika one. And then how can one become a naimittika? The universe provides everything. And how do they do that? They go through the process. At the end of your life, as these people explain, there is a process by which you get into the body of another a different species, and you are born there. And then take a different role, and and then experience the results of your past karmas during this. And then you accumulate more and more karmas, you take another birth. So there are two Purusharthas. During your life, in the next Janma, there are two Purusharthas possible. One Purushartha is to have more and more experience. The other Purushartha will be to reach Kaivalya. Perhaps you may not do that. You may continue to follow the same old, Purushartha, more and more experience, do more and more karma, good, bad, or indifferent. All of them are put together. Then you get another Janma. This keeps on going. Still, the Purushartha is being, the universe is able to provide the opportunities. This is explained in the Yoga Sutras in a slightly different way. How does he say that? To the question, how can a human being become an ant? He says there is no difficulty. All the things are available in nature, like a kshetravad. Kshetra means like a farmer. Only thing is, your karma will tell you where to go. Your karma will tell you where to go. Then you will go. Then you will get it. Just like a farmer, merely you don't take you drink water spoon by spoon and then put it in the neighboring field. Water flows by itself. Only thing is you've got to open the correct bund so it will start flowing into the next field. So that is what the karma does. What does the karma do? It leads you to the next Janma. In between, just like, if you dial your telephone number, wherever it goes, it is able to reach you. It is able to reach you, isn't it? Likewise, your karma will lead, this is what has been ordained. It will take you all the way until you are able to reach that particular Janma and then go through the experiences. And in that you accumulate more and more karmas. It leads you to next Janma, and ultimately you come back to a human birth. At that time you are given another opportunity. You are given another opportunity to become, to follow two of the Purusharthas. You either keep on experiencing whatever you are experiencing, or in due course you try to find out method by which you will be able to stop this transmigration. Right? Purushartha hetukam idam lingam nimitta naimittika prasangena, due to the connection between your karma and the resultant body. That's all. What is the result? Tadvipako jati ayuhu bhogaha. That's what the Yoga Sutra says. Tadvipako. That is the result of your karma. What is the result of your karma? Jati ayuhu bhogaha. What kind of jati are you going to be in? Jati here refers to species. Ayuhu, how long are you going to be there? If I am born as a donkey, my age is 7 years. If I am an elephant, maybe a little more, whatever. Jati, ayuhu, bhogaha, the different, and then not all human beings have the same experience. Some are happy, some are unhappy. Some have mixed results during their lifetime. Right. Can I chant the shloka? Purushartha hetukamidam nimitta naimittika prasangena प्रकृतेर्विभुत्वयोगात् नटवत् व्यवतिष्ठते लिंगम् पुरुषार्थ हेतुकमिदं निमित्तनैमित्तिकप्रसंगेन प्रकृतेर्विभुत्वयोगात् नटवत् व्यवतिष्ठते लिंगम्. We'll go to the next one. सांसिद्धिकाश्च भावाः प्राकृतिका वैकृतिकाश्च धर्माद्याः दृष्टाकरणाश्रयिणः कार्याश्रयिणश्च कललाद्याः. Samsiddhikasya. What is Samsiddhika? Something which is there from the beginning. Samsiddhika, from the beginning. What exists in us from the beginning? It is the Linga Sharira. Samsiddhikaha, Prakritikaha. So Prakritikaha, from the Prakriti, from the Mula Prakriti, okay, we attained a body in the beginning. That is the Sukshma Sharira, which is made of the 13 tattvas. What are the 13 tattvas? The 3 antakarnas and the 10 indriyas. Both, all of them put together, we acquired when the whole thing started. Don't ask me when it started. Whenever it started, at that time, all of us acquired, each one was given a, each one was given a plate. Come on. Just all of us given a queue. Like that, everyone is given a, what do you call, subtle body. Prakritikaha. Then Vaikritikaha bhavaha. Then in course of time we accumulate bhava. Bhava means karmas. We do a karma and then some of the karma produce results immediately, but some of the karmas don't produce results immediately, so they are accumulated. They are held over for the next janma. So what are they known as? They are the karma, they are called karmashayas. Anything that is used up, the karma is used up, and then at the end of your life, at the end of the life, it is said that all the past karmas accumulate into a collection, and then one of the karmas, which is very dominant, that takes over, and along with that it takes number of other karmas that are supportive of that, and then that is responsible to direct you to the next janma. What happens to the rest of the karmas? Because you would have done some good karmas, you have done bad karmas and all that. So whatever is dominant at that particular time, it takes you to the next janma. So you go through the next janma, right? And then what happens to the karma that has not fructified? During the next janma, only certain karmas can act. The other karmas don't have the capacity to act in that particular janma. Supposing you have done some activity so that you should be treated as a deva, divine being. But unfortunately, we have done certain things by which you go, you take you take the birth of something, some animal or something. You can't experience the divine experiences during that janma. So they are dormant. They will be dormant right through. Then at the next janma, depending upon which dominates. So this way, life keeps on going one after the other. So Vaikritaha bhavaha dharmadyaha. Okay, Vaikritikaha, the karmas, are bhavaha. And what are they? They are the dharmadyaha. That's where he is. You remember earlier we have seen in the 23rd shloka or so, what you call adhyavasayo buddhihi dharmo jnana viragam aishwaryam satvikam etat rupam tamasastar viparyasaha. Instead of making it very complicated, every human being can act in 4 different ways if the buddhi is sattvic. Dharma, Jnana, Viraga, Aishwarya. You remember that? We've gone through that. Okay, Dharmadhyaha. So, rather than trying to, whether what will happen to a chartered accountant, what happens to a lawyer, or what happens to a government servant, without going into that, he divides them into 4 groups. Dharma, Jnana, Viraga, Aishwarya. Then Adharma, Ajnana, Aviraga, Anaishwarya. These are the 8 ways. The way in which we go about life can be divided into these 4 groups. That's what he does. Instead of, make it too many, he divides them into 8 groups. 4 plus 4, 8. Like Dharmadhyaha, Karana Ashrayanaha, depends. Okay, and then these, what you call, these karmas, the karmashrayas, they give effect only if you got a body. Without a physical body, this is not possible to achieve. Karana ashrayanaha. Okay, so this body is dependent upon my past karmas. Karana ashrayanaha. Drishtaha kalaladyaha cha. Drishtaha karya ashrayanaha. Right. Drishtaha kalaladyaha cha. The physical body is karya ashrayanaha. The body I have taken from the embryonic stage is dependent upon my karya. Is dependent upon my karma. That's what this shloka explains. So it says that the life we get is dependent entirely upon our karma. Samsiddhikascha bhavaha prakritikaha vaikritikascha dharmadyaha drishtaha karanashrayinaha karyashrayinascha kalaladyaha samsiddhikascha bhavaha prakritika vaikritikascha dharmadyaha drishtakaranaśrayinaha karyashrayinascha kalaladyaha. Right. Now, he said there are the 4 bhavas, 4 and 4, 8 bhavas. So, how does it, how do they, what are the results of that, what will be the next janma depending upon that. So he says, dharmena, he said, I told you that he classified them into a smaller group rather than having too many subdivisions. So if you are a dharmic person doing a lot of dharma, what is dharma? I think as I told you, dharma is something which is an orderly life. And then you also, dharma also means that you help other people. Actually, the word dharma is charity and other things. Anything that you do to help other people, to reduce the pain of other people will come under dharma. Whatever way you are able to reduce the pain of other people will be dharma, because it supports them, it supports the other group. Then the other dharma will be all the activities that are mentioned in the Vedas, they are called dharma activities. Where is yajna, yaga, they are mentioned, they are called also dharma. So the word dharma is very comprehensive. So even there the division is dharma, yajna, yaga, whatever they are mentioned in the Shastras if we do, they are called dharma. And additionally, ishta purta. One is called ishta, the Vedic activity is called ishta. Purta are the activities that you do for the benefit of other people. Like, when I was in school, they will ask the question, what are the great things Ashoka did or something? Then you start writing. What will he planted trees, this and that. You keep on writing this. You don't have to. Sometimes you think, build choul trees. See. So these are all called purtas. Purtas. So both of them are considered to be dharma. Okay. So people who are dharmic, dharmena gamana murdhvam. Dharmena, by observing dharma, by being a dharmic person, gamana murdhvam. The next janma, urdhva, you go upward. What will you do? You go to heaven number 14, 18, 25, whatever, depending upon the quantum of dharma you have done. If you have given charity of 1 crore of rupees, you go to heaven number 14. If you give charity to 2 crores, you go to the next heaven. Right. Dharmena gamana murdhvam. Okay. and Urdhva means where there is more and more happiness. There is more and more happiness. We already come across. Do you remember I mentioned to you about one Upanishad Vakya where it says that you go to the next world, which is 100 times more, gives you 100 times more happiness than the human. Then the next higher world is another 100 times more. Like that, there are heavens mentioned in the Shastras. If you believe in the Shastras and do whatever they ask you to do, you would go to those places and be happy 100 or 1,000 times more than what is possible as a human being. Dharmena gamanam urdhvam, dharmena, by dharma, urdhvam gamanam. Urdhvam gamanam means you go upward. That is, you go to more heavenly places. Dharmena gamanam urdhvam, adharmena adastate gamanam. When you do adharma, what is adharma? That's just the opposite of that. Instead of helping others, you create pain to other people. It's called adharma. Yes, adharma. Okay, right. If I can find happiness only through creating pain for other people, it is adharma. Adharmena adastate gamanam. When you do adharma, what happens? You go downward. What is there downward? There are the other lokas. There are 7 lokas upward. What are the upward lokas? Okay. Janaha tapaha, bhuloka, suvarloka, maharloka, janoloka, tapoloka, satyaloka. These are the, according to the Puranas. Then if you do adharma, you go from here to Atala, Sutala, Vitala, Talatala, Patala, go up to the Patala Loka. So these are the, so if you adhogati, right, adhogati. Dharmena gamanam urdhvam, gamanam adastat bhavati adharmena. Okay, so dharma is the first one and adharma is the first one in the, what do you call it, the opposite of that. Dharmo jnana viragam aishwaryam, satvikam etatrum, tamasas tad viparyasaha. Instead of explaining, saying adharma, jnana, viraga and aishwarya, he merely said viparyas. Now he is going to explain what kind of karma will lead you to what results. That is to be known. Dharmena urdhvam gamanam, adharmena adastat gamanam bhavati. Then what is the next one? Jnanena. What if you remember in that sloka? What is that sloka? Adhyavasaya buddhi dharmo jnana. Second one is called jnana. What is jnana? Dharmena gamanam urdhvam bhavati. Jnanena apavargaha. Jnanena means what? With jnana. What is jnana of what? Jnana of the Purusha. Not ordinary jnana. What is the point in having jnana about the, so that I can have a very jnanena, by jnana of the Purusha, by jnana, apavargaha. Apavarga means what? No further transmigration. This is the end of the story. I don't take another birth. Supposing somebody asks you, right? Supposing if you can know, you got a choice. No birth, or you tell me which kind of birth you want. If you are given these two choices, what will you do? You immediately will say, no, I don't believe in future birth. All right, the question is, supposing you are given a choice of no birth or any birth you want, we'll give you. That is, you say that after going through the Sāṁkhya. Normally will you say that? No. You won't say that. Dharmena gamanam urdhvam adharmena adastat gamanam bhavati jnanena apavargaha viparyayat bandhascha ishyate. Jnanena apavargaha. By the jnana or the knowledge of the Purusha, apavargaha, this transmigration comes to a stop. Apavarga means what? Roll back. Apavarga means roll back. Varga means going forward. Again, next janma, samsara. It keeps on going. Apavarga is where, okay, whole thing, by the time I die, there is no further motivation for me to do anything whatsoever. That is completely taken away. That is, how does it take place? Because I know who really the self is. And the self does not want anything, doesn't need anything. I can't make it happy or unhappy. Then why do I do this? If I know that I don't have to do whatever I do, it doesn't make me happy or it doesn't make me unhappy, then why should I do these things? That is quite logical. Everybody will come to that conclusion provided he knows or she knows that the Purusha does not want anything. Until we know that. Jnanena apavargaha viparyayat bandasya ishyate. So according to them, once the notion that we do everything that to make ourselves happy and remove unhappiness, that thought is replaced by the real Purusha cannot be made happy or unhappy by whatever happens, then the whole approach to life will change. Jnanena apavargaha viparyayat bandasya ishyate. Viparyayat by ajnana. Viparyaya of jnana is ajnana. What is ajnana? I think that the body is the self, so I do everything to make myself happy. So if I keep on doing this, that's called ajnana. I may have a PhD in biochemistry, but still, from the spiritual point of view, I am an ajnani. Apavargaha viparyayat bandasya ishyate. Viparyayasat. All the others, that is, except the jnani. What are the others? Dharma, viraga, aishwarya, adharma, ajnana, aviraga, anaishwarya. All the 7 groups will be will be in bondage, except the one who has got the right. Okay, we'll chant the shloka. Dharmena gamanamurdhvam gamanam adhastat adharmena jnanena chapavargo viparyayat ishyate bandhaha. Dharmena gamanamurdhvam gamanam adhastad bhavati adharmena jnanena chapavargo viparyayad ishyate bandhaha. Okay. Then, what was the next one? He said, dharma, jnana. Third one was vairagya. Dharmo, jnana, viraga. So, if you follow the path of vairagya, is it still sattvic? It is still a sattvic buddhi. Okay, why do you develop viraga? You find that you get attached to objects, it gives you pain only ultimately. Dukkhameva sarvam vivekinaha. So what do you try to do? You try to, withdraw from the outside world and become a vairagi. What do? You go to a forest or, you completely avoid, shun the world. But at the same time, you don't know the understanding of the true nature of the self. See, there are 2 things. One, so this vairagya, which arises because of your reaction to the pain that you experience in the world, that vairagya is called apara vairagya, lower vairagya. Patanjali, what he called, tatparam purushakkyatehe guna vaitrishniyam. In that he says, drashtanushravika vishay vitrishnasya vashikara samnya vairagyam tatparam purushakkyatehe guna vaitrishnam. Drashtanushravika vishay vitrishnasya. That is, drashta vishaya are the worldly object. There are some people who don't aspire for things that normally we aspire for. Drashta. Then anushravika vishaya. Then you go you study the Veda, they talk about going to heaven and all. They are not interested in that also. Like the yogi. But at the same time, they don't have the understanding of the self. So they withdraw from the world. They refuse to be attracted by the what do you call, by the various things that are mentioned in the Vedas, so that you can go to the heaven and all those places. Drashta anushavika vishay vitrishna. They develop trishna means intense desire. Trishna means what you call thirst. Vitrishna means that kind of intense desire is not vitrishna. Vashikara samya vairagyam. That is called Vashikara samya vairagyam, or also known as apara vairagya. Patanjali immediately says this vairagya is not sufficient, it is good, but not good enough. You must have also the understanding of the Purusha. Tat param, higher than that, it's called paravairagya. Purusha kyatehe guna vaitrishnam. Purusha means the real Purusha. Khyati means its power. You see the luster, or you see the nature of the Purusha kyatehe, then you develop guna vaitrishnya. You develop a dispassion towards all the three gunas. You don't have to go outside. The three gunas are in your chitta. You don't develop any attachment to the sattva, rajas, or tamasic tendencies at all. Okay. So here vairagyat prakritilayaha. Here vairagya refers to the apara vairagya, lower vairagya. Prakritilayaha. Prakritilaya means what? Prakritilaya means they merge into one of the 24 aspects of Prakriti. One of the 23 aspects of Prakriti. They merge into a sound. Many of the mantra yoga, what they do is keep on chanting, and then your mind completely merges with that sound. In fact, in one of the stories, have you heard of the Vritrasura? Vritrasura is a great asura. He got a boon from the Lord, so that he could do whatever is possible. He said he got a boon by which he will not be destroyed by any weapon. So he gave a list of weapons by which he should not be destroyed. So then what he did with that, with that backing, with that mandate, he went about and then completely dominated the Devas. The Devas came under him. So the whole universe, instead of being governed by the Devas are supposed to be orderly. Asuras took over. They are chaotic people, so their chaos came in. The entire universe became chaotic at that particular time. At that time, most of the Devas were captive, were under they were under their control. They couldn't do anything. And Indra at that time, instead of fighting, he ran away and then got into a drop of water in an ocean, so that the asuras could not find him. He had that siddhi. Okay, so this is called Prakritilaya. Yeah, Prakritilaya is to merge with the subtle aspects of nature, right, of Prakriti. Anyway, Vairagyat Prakritilayaha, that's what he says. If you develop Vairagya, that is Apara Vairagya, you will be able to you can get away from this entire universe and merge yourself with a very, subtle aspect of Prakriti, and then remain there without being disturbed by the other things until the next cycle of evolution starts. Am I making sense? Huh? Bhava Pratyayo Videha Prakritilayanam. That's what the Yoga Sutra says. Bhava Pratyaya is a lower, a lower Pratyaya. The other one is the Virama Pratyaya. Bhava Pratyaya, Virama Pratyaya. Virama Pratyaya is enough. Bhava Pratyaya is that is where the Siddha Purushas do. Bhava Pratyayo Videha Prakritilayanam. They take two different parts. One is called Prakritilaya. The other one is out-of-body existence, Videha. Okay. Anyway. Vairagyat Prakritilayaha Samsaro Bhavati Rajasat Ragat. Raga means the opposite of Vairagya. Viraga, Raga. What is Viraga? Vigatagaha, Ragaha, Viragaha. When the Raga or passion is given up, it's called Viraga. That attitude is called Vairagya. Vairagya is Viraga Bhavaha, Vairagya. Okay. Rajasat Ragat, by raga means attachment, intense attachment. Patanjali uses the term raga, dvesha, raga. Rajasat Ragat, that raga is due to what? It is due to the Rajoguna. The dominance of the Rajoguna leads to intense desire. Rajasat Ragat, samsaraha bhavati. So because you got so much of desire, You do a lot of things, you are able to achieve some of them are not able to do. So at the time of death, what is there? Still that desire is there. Oh, I wanted to be a CEO of this company. I ended up as a GM of this company. So that it burns me. I want to be a CEO, right? I don't know. You go and ask the CEO, he will say something else. Anyway, so this intense desire, until it is satisfied or it is completely overcome, it will lead you to another janma. Samsaro bhavati. If you have got intense desire, if you don't have vairagya, avairagya will lead you to the next janma. Samsaro bhavati. Aishwaryat avighataha. What is the third one, fourth one we saw in the Sattvam, Adyavasayo buddhi, dharmo, jnana, viragam, aishwaryam. Aishwaryam, the word. What is meant by Aishwarya? Aishwarya means we have come across the word Aishwarya. Aishwarya in Siddhi, Vibhuti, Aishwarya are synonyms. Siddhi. So Aishwarya here refers to Siddhis. So he doesn't talk about Siddhis, in the Sāṁkhya Kārikā, whereas Patanjali talks about the various Siddhis. What are the various Siddhis that can be achieved? And he also tells you how to achieve this. So and then that also requires a sattvic mind, because it requires enormous concentration. Only a sattvic mind can concentrate. So a sattvic mind through the practice of yoga can achieve Aishwarya. Aishwaryat abhigataha. When you do Aishwarya, what happens? You master the universe. You completely master the universe. Every aspect of the universe is mastered. So what happens? You will not be avigataha. You will not be, you will not be perturbed by the vagaries of nature. Nature cannot afflict you. The one example that is given is what? Is given to, you Prahlada story, he could not be, his father did everything possible, all the four elements were used. He was, Agni will not burn him, water will not drown him, like that the nature basically made up of the four bhutas did not destroy him. Okay, so he is a Siddha Purusha, Abhigata. That Siddhi, of course, he got through devotion, whereas yogis get it by the Raja Yoga. Samsaro bhavati rajasat ragat, aishwaryat abhigataha, viparyayat tad viparyasaha. So the opposite is Aishwarya means lordship. You become the lord of the universe. If you don't develop this, the opposite takes place. What? You become a servant. What does it mean? You completely become to the senses. Until the senses take over completely, you become, that's one problem with that. You become completely a slave to the senses dominate you, right? Whereas in Aishwarya, you dominate the universe. On the other hand, Anaishwarya, you allow ordinary objects dominate you, because ordinary objects through the senses will dominate you. So that's the message here. Vairagyat Prakriti layaha. Samsaro bhavati. Rajasat ragat. Aishwaryat abhighataha. Viparyayat tadviparyasaha. Okay. Vairagyat prakriti layaha. Samsaro bhavati rajasat ragat. Aishwaryat abhighataha. Viparyayat tadviparyasaha.